Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to use AWS CodePipeline to build and publish a Docker image. When you go to the CodePipeline window, you'll see that there are various options. There is source, artifacts, build, deploy, pipeline, settings. And in the pipelines, you can see there is a create pipeline option. But before that, we need to go to settings, and in the connections, we have to create a connection. I'm using GitHub to store my Docker file, and to connect GitHub with AWS CodePipeline, first I need to create a connection. For this connection, when I click on the create connection, I see there is a GitHub option. I'll just give some name and then connect it. It'll ask me to authorize AWS connector. I'll authorize this. After this, it will take me to a new page. And in this, it says this connection name, and then there is an app installation. So as there is no app installation as of now, I'll install a new app, and I'll just install and authorize it with the GitHub. After doing this, AWS CodePipeline will able to get all the repositories that I have in that particular account. It may ask you to log in, but as I was already logged in, so it just asked me to authorize. Then we can go to the pipeline section. But as we are going to publish these images into ECR, we have to create a new private ECR repo. It can be a public repo, but for this video, I'm just going to create a private repo. I'll call it docker/nginx. It's a mutable type, and the encryption is AES-256 default. I can use this repository now to store my Docker images. After clicking on create, I see there are two options. One is create pipeline from template, and one is build custom pipeline. I'll select build custom pipeline. I'll give some name to this pipeline. Let's call it Docker build publish. There are three options for execution mode. One is supersede, queued, and parallel. So I'll just select the queued, which is the default one. This means every new execution will be in a queue. It will happen one after another. A new service role is getting created for CodePipeline. I'll create a new service role as I do not have an existing role. I don't need any variables. I don't need advanced settings. I just click on next. In the source section, you'll see there is a GitHub app. Select that. And in the GitHub app, I have already created a connection. So I'll just select that connection. If you have not, then you can click on the connect to GitHub button here. It'll follow the same process that we have earlier. In the repository, you can see it is able to populate all the repositories that I have as well as the branches. I'll select the repo, the branch, and with the default options, I'll just select the trigger as no filter as well. You can select the specify filter option, so this will give you more control over the triggers that you have for this pipeline. For no filters, it'll release the pipeline on any push event. In the build section, there is an option for other build providers. So other builds, we have three builds: code build, ECR build, and publish in Jenkins. I'll use the ECR publish provider. And you can see there is a docker/nginx image already there, nginx registry already there. In the optional settings, I do not need to pass anything because my Docker file is in the root directory itself. In the deploy section, as we do not have anything to deploy yet, I'm not going to select this. I'll skip this. The code pipeline needs at least two stages. So we have a source and a bid. That's why our pipeline will work. There is no issue. I just go through and review this settings that I have selected, and then I'll create a pipeline. As soon as I create the pipeline, you can see it's triggered automatically. From the source, it's trying to fetch all the data that it can, and after that, it'll trigger the build operation. So it has fetched all the data from the particular repository that we had mentioned. You can see there is a first commit as the source commit mentioned, and this is the latest commit that there is. In the build, you can see it has started the build operation. If you click on view details, you can see there are logs, and these logs are actually the Docker image build logs. You can see a lot of logs are there. In the summary, you can see its basic status, and the input, you're able to find what is the repository name and what is the source that we are getting. So once the build is successful, you'll see an extra option of output there. So this will show what image ID has been generated in this repo. If you select this, and you'll able to see there is a latest image available here. It was published just now. If you release this pipeline again, so release means triggering the pipeline execution again, it'll pull the source and then build it again. I'll just edit this part out because it takes some time to pull the source and then build the image. So once the build is successful, you'll able to see a new image available in the ECR repo. So you can see there is a latest tag has been shifted to the latest image, and the earlier image it does not have any tag anymore. So our trigger was based upon what we have in the main branch. If I update anything in this branch, it'll trigger the pipeline without any manual intervention. So I'll just add something to the index.html file that I have, and I'll commit to the main branch directly. So as soon as I commit, I can see the pipeline has been triggered. The source, it started fetching the latest source, and now it has the source of updated index.html. So this was the latest commit that happened. And once the build is successful, I can see that the latest image has been published, and the latest image tag has also been updated. So like this, we can build a Docker image and publish it to our Elastic Container Registry. Thanks a lot for watching, and please subscribe if you have not already.